Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo. This is the MeWe Metaphysics and Wellness Awakening panel for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and online, and tonight is our online event and awakening panel with the theme of living your soul's purpose. So today our aim is to help you find your purpose, have all kinds of tips and hints and direct answers to your questions for how to connect with your purpose and live your purpose. There are 6 of us on the panel tonight. We're going to go through and introduce ourselves briefly so you know who we are, and we'll talk a bit about soul purpose. And let's talk about soul purpose while we're introducing ourselves, everyone, since I know it's part of what we all do. And feel free to talk about all your modalities, not only what we will be applying probably tonight. And after we introduce ourselves, talk a little about the theme, we'll be answering questions. We've already got someone in line for questions. It's free to be here to listen and learn, and a small price to ask a question of the panel. Chances are you'll hear from all of us on the panel. You really can ask about anything, but living your soul's purpose is the theme for tonight. And we've got lots more people that are joining us. I'll be bringing the practitioners up on stage, so it's easier to see us, spotlight us. All right, great. And I'll share a little bit more about the process of asking a question after we do our introductions. And I'll be pasting information in the chat about all the practitioners too. And I think I've got, let's say, most of the practitioners have given me specials. And sorry, I didn't check on this earlier. Parneet, I don't have yours right now. If you could send it to me again, that would be great. And yeah, I'll be pasting everything in chat as we do our introductions. I'm going to start spotlighting us. So get us all to the front for you. All right. So let me just start getting us all up front as more of us are joining. It's so exciting. I'm thrilled to be back to doing events again. All right, well, why don't you go ahead, Parneet, you go ahead and start, and go ahead and take 2 to 3 minutes for your introduction.
Hello, everybody. My name is Parneet. I'm a medium, tarot card reader, healer, as well as a spiritual teacher, which means I love to teach people how to open up their own intuitive abilities. So I offer a lot of workshops and one-on-one mentoring on that. So the topic of soul's purpose, I love it because it's been my lifelong passion to figure out what my soul's purpose is. And it is different than life purpose, because life is this incarnation that you're in, and what do you want to achieve while you're here? Whereas the soul's purpose is infinite lifelong journey that has no end and no beginning. So part of the soul's journey is to have experiences in the human realm and then carry them onto the other side in other incarnations, wherever they might be. So it's a very interesting, wide range topic. There's no clear-cut answers, but you know what? It's fun to explore. And that's always been my thing, is to just learn and go with it. So I'm really excited to be here, and hopefully I can answer your questions the best way that I can and from my own experiences. And I'm sure everybody on this panel has a lot of insight into this already. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Henry, are you all set to go?
You were muted, but I just
know. Oh, okay, sorry. Henry and then Susan.
All right, great. So I am Henry India Holden at henryindiaholden.com. And as you can see, I'm a second generation mystic. So my mom was one as well. I don't know how it was in previous generations, but I certainly know from my mom. And really what that meant for both of us was that we had direct experiences with what we thought of as the divine. And so how I help people as a life coach, as a spiritual guide, and as a tarot reader, because I love using the tarot, because it kind of bypasses the intellect and bypasses the structures of what we already know that can get in the way of knowing something new. So I use these things, and what I like to help people with is their life purpose, or their soul's purpose, as what this panel refers to it today. And for me, the divine self and the soul purpose, divine purpose, are all the same thing. Being authentic is all the same thing. So I work with people to discover discover who they authentically are, which happens very fast, like within 15 minutes, sometimes within seconds of a session, whoop, there's this real person. All they needed is just a little bit of permission, a little bit of love. And I am studying eco-psychology now, which is amazing. So I'm really seeing that the ecological self is also a way of talking about the true self and the true purpose. So when we develop ourselves as ecological beings, our soul purpose just becomes revealed. And just what that means, ecological self, is seeing ourselves as part of the planet, seeing ourselves not as something unique standing outside of nature, but something that is part of the whole of life. And that is, as a mystic, that's truly my experience of meta reality, that everything is part of everything and everything is connected together. And our purpose, when we see ourselves as part of the whole, as part of connected with all of life, then what we meant to do, what's true for us, just naturally pops out. And then I help people to develop the steps, to look at what stands in the way, and to create a strategy or a plan, how to actually implement that and what the actions are. And then I help them fulfill on that. So not just soul's purpose, but also how to manifest that and how to close the gap between how we live our lives now and how we live our lives when we are coming from and living into our soul's purpose. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Henry. Susan, Karen, and then Saidi.
I'm Susan Watkins with Inspired Life Essential Wellness, and as others have mentioned, sometimes we get lost, we get stuck, we don't know which way to turn, and the noise and chaos that goes on all around us can really disconnect us from our path. And so I help people get reconnected back to their self, back to their center, to their heart, to the heart's whisper that really is there all the time. I utilize modalities of Reiki, sound healing, some gentle movements such as yoga, and really peel back those layers and reconnect back to your heart, to yourself, to what lights you up, what inspires you, what empowers you, so that you can take those action steps to live a full and joyful full life that we're here to all live and enjoy together. So I look forward to being on this panel and talking with everyone. Thank you for sharing your evening with us.
Thanks, Susan. Karen.
Hello, my name is Karen Coccia with KarenCoccia.com, and I am so excited to be on this panel tonight. Just like everyone else is talking about here, we're all in this business. We all love helping people figure out who they are at their core. I'm a quantum healer, a multidimensional mentor, and a soul alignment coach. I'm trained in a number of healing modalities. I'm a Reiki master. I'm trained in intuitive healing, quantum healing, life coaching through tarot. And I really help people release everything that's not authentic to them to illuminate who they truly are and what they came here to be in this life. As Henry mentioned, I see the life purpose and the soul purpose to be somewhat the same, because you come here as a soul being incarnating into this planet, into this life, and then you have a purpose that you've put into this human body. So I really help people to clear out all that's not theirs so that they can actually figure out who they came here to be, what they came here to do. And we do that by energetically connecting, removing all of the stuff that's not theirs. And then I often fall in with a life coaching approach of asking questions, things like looking at your childhood and what lit you up, what excites you now, what angers you now, things that get that emotional charge. I also help people to release all the stuff that they've picked up along the way that's not actually theirs. So many people are living a life purpose that's not even, or I should say, yeah, life purpose, a false life purpose that's not even theirs, because they're picking up projections and expectations and all of this other stuff that's floating around in their field and not authentic to them. So I'm so excited to dive into some of those questions and really explore this topic. Again, my name is Karen Coccia, KarenCoccia.com.
Thanks so much, Karen. Saidi.
Hi there, my name is Saidi. I'm with the Evolve Your Sexuality, and I'm really excited to be here tonight. I love this topic. So our soul's purpose, our souls came in here into this 3D experience, into these human bodies. And with that entering in comes a forgetfulness, and we kind of forget what we're doing here. And it takes our lifetime to figure that out. And we enter in taking on a lot of energies, like Karen was saying, energies that aren't really ours. And it's a kind of part of the puzzle or the journey to decipher and clear and align and figure out what it is we are doing here. So depending on our life circumstances, that can be more or less challenging for each one of us. So
sorry to interrupt, but what happened? I got kicked off for a second.
Okay, sorry about that.
I just want something.
Sorry, if you could wait, we're doing the introductions right now.
All right. Speaking of that, what is an energy healer?
Go ahead, Saidi. Sorry about the interruption.
That's okay, thank you. So I use a variety of different modalities to support people to clear those energies that aren't theirs and that are limiting and conditioning their experience. I find that, yeah, when we can get through those energies, clear them away, then we can start aligning with what we truly are here for and what our purpose is. When we're carrying around all those heavy energies or traumatic energies, inherited ancestral trauma, trauma from our own life experience, yeah, it gets really challenging to align. So yeah, that's what I'm passionate about. I use a variety of different modalities, shamanic practices, soul retrieval, magic, spiritual guidance and counsel, energy healing, a whole bunch of stuff to support the process. So yeah, again, looking forward to the evening and so glad you all are here.
Thanks so much, Saidi. I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader. You're probably familiar with the phrase, eyes are a window to the soul. So I read your eyes, read your soul, and I use a set of archetypes to describe what it is that I see. I read many traits. I look at things like your natural talents, your pacing or rhythm, the speed at which you integrate and share and move in the world, how you make decisions, what motivates you, how you protect yourself. And I look at big lessons. So one of the ways I look at lessons is worldview, this consciousness and what we value as important in the world. All the different traits have lessons. And in terms of life purpose, one of the most important traits is the talents. I use a map of 7 talents. They all do have growth lessons. I describe each person as having 3. So like I, for example, love information and data, tons of information and data coming at you in the chat. I love making things effective, practical, and useful. And that's why I take all my work and I apply it to real questions in your life. And then also I have a talent that's great for community and connecting people together. And that's why I run these big events. So lots of people might have the same 3 talents and it shows up differently in each person, but person's talents gives me kind of a direction. Like, what is the direction of your purpose? What are the things that you naturally contribute and value that energize you and that you really need to have present to feel fulfilled? And so given what you know about yourself and your interests and what I see in your eyes, there's like some way of combining that together that really points more directly towards your purpose. I get you going in that direction, and then the specifics can be different for each person. The order of the talents matters. Some of the other traits matter. For example, there was someone that I connected with at our previous panel on Friday who has a lot of action. And so her work is about being physically active with people. So there are all kinds of other traits too. So the part of the way I'm going to answer, probably a big way I'm going to answer your questions tonight, is by looking in your eyes in the video and talking about what I see and how that might connect to your purpose. Laureli Shimayo, and you can learn more about me on the web at laurelishmayo.com, and I'll have all that in the chat. And as you're watching the video later, because this is recorded and will be posted online, it's laurelishmayo.com. You learn about all these different events and my eye readings as well. So I'm also a body psychology coach, where your body gives information all the time about this. When you talk about your purpose, what is your posture? Where do you get itches and where do you touch yourself? And like this is, things like this, all of this has meaning in terms of how congruent you are with what's happening in your experience in a way that you can get knowledge and awareness from your body, where it's telling you information all the time about what your purpose is, what you want and what you don't. And sometimes we just need permission to listen and some awareness of what to listen to. Oh, I'm so excited to have all 6 of us together. I guess hearing all of us share, sometimes we have some new things we want to mention about what we do or how it applies. Practitioners, anyone want to jump in and say anything else just about this topic? Just checking. All right, cool. All right, well, let's see. I'm attempting to get
Willing to say
Lauren.
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm willing to say something more about this topic. So, you know, I used to think about the purpose as something that I came here on this earth, you know, that I was a spirit manifesting in the body, and then I came here, and then I had like a divine purpose that then needed to be fulfilled. And now that I'm taking, and this is your fault, now in a good way, now that I'm taking eco psychology, it's like opening up so wide, where there's so much more to it than that. And I'm no longer looking at the earth as a facilitating playground for my soul. I'm looking at the earth as part and parcel of that experience. So that is something that I'm looking forward to sort of exploring this evening. And I hope that at least one person will have some questions in that area, what that means, and we can discover that together.
Thanks, Henry.
I'd also love to share something.
Yeah.
When we were talking about soul's purpose, I don't know if anyone else kind of made this equation, but I always thought of soul purpose as meaning your job and how you bring in income. And it used to really irk me when I would hear from people like, well, your purpose doesn't have to be your job. I was like, no, that is my, my purpose. And I got very attached to that. And then I started to discover that that's not necessarily true. Some people have come in for a very specific career, but a lot of people are here to be healers or uplifters or different things like that, where they can do it in lots of different jobs. And so I wanted to share that because sometimes we accidentally marry the two as what my career is and what my soul purpose is, and they have to be exactly the same. Whereas your soul purpose can be so much larger, and you're here to impact certain individuals, and you're here to spread ripples across the world or whatever it is. And you could do it wherever you happen to be employed or whatever you happen to be doing with the hours of your day, whether you're a homemaker or, an employee or an entrepreneur or whatever you are. So I wanted to throw that out there and kind of round out the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. Great. And then we're giving you kind of the generals of how we approach this and some of the different tips and ways we think about it, and you'll get a much clearer view as we answer questions. All right, well, let's see. So, and practitioners, if something else shows up, let me know. So we're getting ready to start answering questions, and a few things that are important. One is this is being recorded and it's going to be posted online. So, right, totally in public with us right now, and even more public over time. There may be some topics that you don't want us delving into in this format. That's why we all do private sessions, and information about specials on how to do private work with us is in chat. Meanwhile, today, when you ask a question, if we go deeper than you want us to go in this format, or we start talking about other topics that you don't want us sharing about here, please interrupt us and let us know. You can give us guidance ahead of time, and please, in the moment, anything that you want us to tune and how we're sharing, please do that. We're here to honor you. Second thing is that we believe that everyone is intuitive, potentially open. So this is a great opportunity to practice expanding your intuition, because as you listen, whatever shows up for you, you might want to write notes, write notes down on whatever appears for you. You might discover how it's relevant and how we answer. It's a great opportunity to see how the way you answer correlates with how we answer. And you may have tons of great information that comes in too that we happen to not share. There's a great opportunity to get feedback that other practitioners are picking up the same things. Also, we appreciate it if you would allow the attention to stay up on the panel today. It's on the 6 of us and whoever's asking a question. You're welcome to ask like some other questions in chat and things like that. They apply to what's happening right now. But generally, it's just allowing the attention to stay here and everyone focused with us. If you do have something come through you that's for the person that asked the question, we request that you hold it until we're done answering their question. And then if you want, you can private chat them and see if they'd like to hear what came through you. And please trust that if they say no, they might be full after hearing from all of us. Trust that it came through you for some other reason. All right, great. All righty, well, let's see. So we've got 3 people in line so far, Tracy, Verna, and Caitlin. Yeah, and so we'll have time to answer a few more questions too. The information on how to pay for a question is in chat. If you've paid for a question, please, if you could also message me and let me know. I want to make sure that I get you in line quickly. And if for some reason we have more questions than we can get to, we refund you. So thanks so much. And yeah, any questions about how to pay or anything like that, let me know. All right. Well, let's see. So Tracy, are you ready do you want to come up and be on the spotlight with us? I just need your video on and then I can pull you up on stage. Okay, you are. Great. All right, what is your question?
I feel like I'm getting a bit of a late start because I'm 51 and I'm not sure, I'm just starting into this whole journey. And so I'm interested knowing what my talents are and my soul purpose as well.
All right, great. And it's up to all of you that ask questions, how little or how much information you want to give us. It's great. When everyone's quiet, I'll just share a little bit. So my sense is that you love learning, that you're always pulling in information and connecting it together in a map. It's like one of the talents that I see that you have is called Scholar. It's about absorbing information to build knowledge and to share knowledge. So there's some way that you probably like solving puzzles in some form. It might have to do with people and that you love to share what you've learned or what you're figuring out. And then I also imagine that one of your talents is called Priest or Priestess. It's about inspiration, vision, passion, motivation. It's about seeing not only what's here, seeing what's possible, to wanting to inspire and motivate people to stretch and reach for what's possible, use emotions to pull people forward. So you'd want to be in a context where feeling emotions deeply is okay, where people being in emotional integrity and being authentic is welcomed and encouraged. And so someone that works with people, like these are both a great fit. So it can be as a teacher or a coach or an intuitive or all those kinds of things, social work or moving some sort of nonprofit forward that betters the world, where information is used, but it's also about moving things forward. So I know it's a little general, but like those are the kinds of things. The traps that you want to be careful about falling into is that people with the mixture of the different traits that you have can get caught in the potential that they see and want it really quickly. And so finding a group of people that are willing to move forward at the pacing that you want, and also you getting more and more spacious with the process and knowing that we're on a journey and it's perfect. And then also not getting caught in all the details and thinking that you need to know things so well. Part of the lessons of growing in Scholar is to get more connected to your intuition, which I think you probably are well in touch with already with Priest Priestess. But letting yourself play in the mystery where you don't know and solving puzzles where you don't even know how you're going to solve them. And so that's part of why, like those of us that work with intuitive work or work with people and all kinds of contexts like that, it's great because we don't know. We're more effective when we trust, when we don't know, and we discover. So there's a bit of what I see for you. All right, great. Sadi's ready. Go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on what you said with age and timing and such, and feeling like you're getting a late start. What I know about our souls is they come in here at just exact perfect right timing for us. So whatever's going on for you, you can be confident and certain that it is precisely the right timing. And I think all of us that are here came in for there's a lot of really big shifts happening on the planet and huge awakenings, and we're all here to support that process in whatever way. And we came here for this adventure, and a lot of us are really awakening to our soul purpose, and the energies that are pouring into the planet are making it a lot more, are really accelerating the process for us. So I think, because I've gone on that, been concerned myself about timing and am I getting a late start? And the more I've gone along and the more I've worked with my guides and such, it's like, no, everything is exactly precisely how it's supposed to be. So that's helped me to really relax into that and just know, and to open up to more of what is coming in. So yeah, so there's that.
I'd like to go next if you're done saying.
And I get Karen set and then Parneet. If we
Okay, sorry.
Fine, if she'd like to go next, it's okay.
Okay, great. Parneet, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I wasn't sure I was listening to Saidi and I was going, okay, yeah, you're right. There is no time limit on when you're going to find anything. I think that the culminative experiences of your life, right from the time you were born till now, has been part of your journey. So if you're thinking you haven't found anything, you found yourself. You're here, you're listening to us and trying to figure it out, which is the first step in really finding your soul's purpose, is to ask the questions. It's about knowledge, it's about being open to possibilities. And I get a sense with you that you're a bit of an explorer and a wanderer, and you're trying to always try new and different things. And, you know, some work, some don't, but that's an endless journey. I feel like with you, it's more about just being open to possibilities and not confining yourself to one purpose. It's a multitude of purposes. It's everything. I am so many different facets of me at any given time. And so I don't like to define that, oh, you should be only doing this or doing that. You need to experience your whole life journey, sometimes all at the same time. And especially in these last 2 years, I think people have had a lot more time on their hands to think about their life's purpose. I know I have, but I think I'm on it, so I'm good with that. But that doesn't mean I'm not open to change, just like anybody else. So just go with the flow. I feel like this is part of your purpose, is to discover yourself and discover who you want to be. And I think it's never going to be one thing and one thing only. So just trust in that, the feelings that you're getting, and just follow them on that intuitive level, and you'll be always going in the right direction. Thank you.
Great. So Karen, you got your hand up.
Yes. Okay. Hi, Tracy. So part of me wants to ask more questions and kind of learn a little bit more, but Henry's agreeing. But it feels like you may have gone through a shift recently, and it feels like you've done a little bit of that shedding of some stuff that might not have been in alignment with who you are at your core. It also feels like there's some frustrations, and I don't know if it's a little bit of pessimism or regret that looking back, but as both of the ladies who have spoken so far have said, I would invite you to actually even run a clearing statement about getting started late, which would be something along the lines of destroying and uncreate anywhere and everywhere you're holding on to the idea that you are getting started too late in life to discovering your soul's purpose, and destroy everything that is across all time, space, dimensions, realities, universes, and beyonds. And just remove that whole concept from adding this extra pressure to your field and like putting these time constraints. Our souls are timeless, right? So time only exists on this planet. And if your soul is awakening now, it might very well be, as Saidi was speaking to, because you're here in order to help with the ascension of Earth at this time. There's so many people waking up. There's so many shifts happening. I'm getting goosebumps all over as I'm talking about this. And you might be exactly where you need to be and exactly what your soul wanted for you to start thinking about and start exploring right now. So I invite you to let go of any of that regret, that heaviness, that baggage that you're holding on to, and really just start waking up every day with, how do I want to spend my day? What feels good to me right now? And just exploring how you can share whatever's coming up with other people. Just what feels right to me in any given moment, and share whatever's coming forward, and just be your authentic self and start every day with that, you're being your soul intention, right? Just how can I be authentically me? Because again, I'm going to go back to that comment I made. It doesn't have to be a job, and it doesn't have to be something big. It can be the smallest little pebble that's thrown into the lake that ripples out and affects so many more people than you possibly could know.
Henry, go ahead.
Yes. So, Tracy, I have you and pinned, so I'm really looking at you, you know, and I'm looking at as you're listening. So a couple of things came up for me. At first, I really had no idea, because I was like, wow, that's a very direct question. Like, you know, like, I'm 51, I'm starting late, and I want to know what my soul purpose is. Boom. You know, like, that's it. And I really love that. So I think that's one of your strengths, cutting right through everything. And also what happens when you cut right through, there's some stuff you miss. So it's like both, right? It's like with everything, that the strength also has downsides, and the downsides also have upsides. And so I would say keep that, of course, not that you're gonna shed it, but like own it. And I agree with that. And at the same time, what if you kind of also went indirectly and kind of meandering? That sort of emotionally might make a difference. But so what I was thinking about for you is, with regard to your life purpose, everybody mentioned, you know, how you felt that you're starting late. And like, for example, I'm going to be 65 in May, and I didn't really get what my life purpose is until about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I realized, oh, my life purpose is helping other people with their life purpose. It was like just too closely related. So then I was like already, you know, past 60, so 10 years older than you. So, and the interesting thing is about this, that these few years in which it's become glass clear what my life is about, that feels like a very, very long time. It feels like that's been my whole life like that. So almost like retroactively, it has altered my past. So that might be an interesting thing for you to know. This is not an uncommon experience. So what I would recommend for you is that you just ask yourself, like, journaling wise, do you journal? No. Okay. So, you know, use a napkin or a piece of paper towel or whatever, and a magic marker or whatever you want, and just say, okay, what do I care about? You know, like, what do I emotionally connect with? What moves me? You know, like, for example, stories of rescues move me always to tears. I used to think I'm just a sentimental sap, until I realized, no, this says something. This tells me something important about myself. So in that example, like, look at what moves you, what you care about. And then I would put next to it what your consideration is. So for instance, considerations often are, will this earn me enough? Will this earn me a living? Another consideration is, will anybody get that? Will society accept that? So we have lots of considerations about the things we do in life. Will I be judged? Will this be good enough? Is this a step down socially? Does this have social stocks? So there's lots of questions that come up, right? And put that next to it. And then kind of embrace these things. Like, yeah, okay, well, I might not like, for instance, tarot for me. Oh my gosh, 10 years ago, I would have never even put that word in my mouth, because the credibility down the toilet right away. Well, now I really couldn't give any more care to that than I just don't care, because it's such an important, powerful part of making a difference with people. So, you know, you grow into it when you start embracing what your considerations are. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So this way, you really get to know what's stopping you. And the reason why I'm saying that to you is because I'm going to share the screen very briefly here. The reason why I'm saying that is because I had no idea what I should say to you. So I thought maybe I won't even say anything. And then I was like, okay, well, as usual, bypass my intellect, bypass my ego, and just let these cards say something to me. And so very clearly, love is always, 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 always the best guide. You know, like, what you love, that's why I was saying, what do you care about? So what you love, then limiting beliefs is always what gets in the way of the things, of us manifesting the things that we care about, like the limiting belief of, this won't be accepted, this won't earn me money, this won't be good enough for me, or not good enough for the people who believe in me, or something like that. And then the divine mystery, you could also say just the mystery of life, if divine doesn't necessarily resonate with you. That just to understand that the whole thing is a process, the whole thing is a journey. Karen brought this up. It's like, I think you know your life purpose, right? I think you know it, but not consciously, or maybe you have taken it, I'm going to try and unshare. Maybe you have taken it off the plate. This is a very common thing, that you knew the life purpose really clearly, and then somebody said, what? or a version of that, and I guess not that. And then it comes off the plate, and then you forget, and then you look on your plate, what is my life purpose? And then it's not there, so you can't find it because it's not there. So then look at the things you've discarded, and that's how I would interpret the mystery. Does all of this, any of this make sense for you?
Yeah, I have no idea about the purpose part, but the rest for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So just make a list of what you care about, because your purpose in what you care, your purpose is in what you care about.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. All right. Susan, is there anything you want to share before we?
Just, I would, similar to what others have said, is really what lights you up. You know, what's exciting to you? What is that thing that you hear and you feel your heart go, oh, I want to do that, or I want to learn more about that. Those things can help guide you in doing your purpose, or, you know, finding, discovering, moving forward in your purpose. And there will be people that say, you know, that's not real. I've had people say that to me. That's not real work. That's not real. But just really owning within yourself what's real for you and what lights you up. How do you want to spend your time, your energy, and knowing that every day you can begin again. I have a mantra that came up for you. I let go of yesterday and make room for new possibilities. Every day is a new possibility. Journaling can be super helpful as well to quiet your mind and just, you know, free write. Yeah.
Great. Oh yeah, Karen, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing, because Henry and Susan were both saying an excellent point about what lights you up, but I want to throw in there too what frustrates the you know what out of you, because that is a really good clue too. What do you really want to change? What do you want to, you know, what drives you bonkers that does feel like totally either out of alignment or you're in resistance to it? There's clues in that for you too.
And I'll say too, I didn't say this, but if it's possible that your third talent is artisan, did you make the wall behind you? Oh, I can't hear you. It's muted. Sorry.
No, I didn't.
Did you choose it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sometimes people that are artistic choose things that are artistic, and sometimes they make things. And so yours and the artisan talent is the one that is creative, and they're also rebellious and feisty. And so there's like moody, cranky, intensity, feistiness about wanting change in a positive direction. And it uses some information in it, because I think you also have scholar. So yeah, the things that, and I love everything that everyone is saying. And for me, that you don't need to know what's in your eyes, right? It's where you feel energy and joy, where you feel enlivened, energized, and often time passes. Like those are the clues to find your purpose. It's just the opposite of what society tells us. They tell us that hard work is the thing that has value. So the thing that's easy, that you might not even notice that you do all the time.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for letting us answer. Thanks for getting us started. All right, let's see. So I asked a few people if we could switch around the order a little bit. I haven't heard back. So we're gonna switch up the order a little bit. I've got maybe 6 people in line. So Laura, if you want to come up, I think you've got 10 minutes. So we're gonna do quick.
Hello.
Questions.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. I have 10 minutes. So whatever is quick that you feel you're gonna pick at. I'm really excited because I met Laureli, and thank you, Laureli. Your one question yesterday. Wow. Unlocked actually a lot of unstuck. This is a stuck topic, right? What's stuck? So I did handle 90% of the stuckness yesterday. The one that is lingering, I'm really interested in Saidi with the is it evolving your sexuality? I can't see it. The thing that is stuck for me, I just currently realized on Friday, is my pelvis from a child. Second child kind of rearranged my pelvis pretty good, but I'm finding it correlates a lot with also like a sexual energy stuck from partners. And so I like to get unstuck from a pelvic floor position. And I don't know how about finding the right modality to do that. And I was wondering if it correlates, because my energetic stuckness that's not in my pelvis that I think correlates with it is that, how do you heal something that was with a person that you cannot actually heal it because they're not going to participate in the healing? That's my question.
Very great. Yeah. So Saidi the most time, and then everyone else, we're doing speed answers. Saidi, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Hi there, Laura.
Laura.
Great questions. Yeah, this energy is something that you are carrying, so it does not require anybody else to clear that from you. You know that their energy is their energy, and yours is yours. So it's what you're working with. So yeah, our root and sacral chakra are where we tend to hold a lot, and they're kind of our base. So trauma or dysfunction, emotional challenges, fears, insecurities, sense of self-worth, low sense of value. You know, we hold all of this there, and just our foundation where we feel comfortable, rooted into the earth, into our home, into our bodies, you know, feeling comfortable in our bodies. So yeah, it's easy for a lot of energy to get stuck there, and that's kind of where we always start. We start at the bottom and work our way up. So, but yeah, relationship issues or any sort of sexual trauma issues, or just, you know, we all kind of come into this experience here in the 3D world, dealing with some really heavy sexual energies, you know, just because of the way it is. Won't get into all of that, but yeah, so working with those centers, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the pelvic floor region, hips, all of that area where we carry a lot of energy, to release it goes a long way. And it does not require that the other person be present for that or be on board with that even. It's just your thing. So, and a big part of that is cutting cords, dissolving attachments, cutting cords, agreements, ending agreements, you know, and this can be from all timelines, lifetimes, realms, and dimensions, because we carry this from all of our experiences. So, so that's a big piece, to release all of that as well. So, is that answering your question?
Not really. That kind of sits me right where the question starts. So it's more about like like the practices around cutting cords, and then maybe some, since I'm just now realizing with all of you that there are these sort of healing opportunities out there, is there anyone that directly deals with the pelvic floor from maybe you know, healing sense I don't know about, or what are some of the practices on cutting the cords, I guess?
Okay, there's I personally work with energy. So if you're looking for like more physical modalities or somebody to do that, that I'm not a doctor. I can't really guide you in that, but I know I have worked with physical issues myself, seeing a physical therapist, and they can work with muscles like that. You know, you can get referred from your doctor, possibly. But yeah, energy working with energy goes a long way in clearing that up too. So I feel like that's more beneficial from what I understand than working at a physical level, because it's all intertwined. So, and cord cutting rituals, you know, there's I imagine there's a number of people here that can guide you in that. That's something that I offer, supporting that and teaching that. Yeah, so that's a practice that you can do. Yeah. Did that question better? Sorry, I think I went off on it.
I think it gave me the language cord cutting. That's like a really helpful thing. Now I can
Excellent.
Speak to people.
Wonderful. Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I have a pelvic floor reference for someone in the Seattle area. So
okay.
Karen.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure about that kind of physical.
Karen, go ahead.
Okay. So firstly, to your question about supporting the physical, going into yoga could be very supportive of the actual physical, building the pelvic floor back up. Specifically, Warrior 2 is coming to mind for me. So that might be a pose that you feel quite helpful in supporting the physical. It also feels like you have detached kind of from your body a little bit, and like you're holding a lot of trauma in your reproductive organs. So there's some forgiveness that needs to come forward on an energetic level. And then, as Saidi said, absolutely on the cord cutting, and just, you can literally, you know, we can whoever, if you wanted to work with somebody, there's a way to really energetically kind of pull everything that imprinting of someone else has left, because it is, as Sadie mentioned, what you're holding on to.
Yeah.
So they don't need to partake in it. It's really about you consciously going in, feeling or seeing what's going on and saying, not going to keep that anymore, and removing it. And so there's so many different approaches to doing that. There was something else I wanted to add.
And I want to say, I like that you use the word imprint, because I know it's not realistic to get them involved. So I guess my question was like, how do you get rid of the imprint is basically now I'm understanding it's like what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, awesome. So it's
Yeah.
really about finding where it's being held in your body and releasing it. And then it really feels like there's forgiveness that's required within your own body, within yourself as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead, Susan.
I'm a yoga instructor, so I agree very much when Karen said yoga. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Also, Pilates does a lot. I'm not a Pilates instructor, but Pilates also does work with the pelvic floor quite a bit and with those abdominal muscles, deeper abdominal muscles. So some people don't like yoga, some people don't like Pilates. So, I would say try them both and see. Certainly follow up with Laureli's recommendation. Physical therapists too can often work with that area as well. So
just to let you all know, I'm a personal trainer, so I'm very
okay.
aware of the body and do all the modalities with the body, but I'm looking for something that's non-traditional pelvic help that might be out there, because I already have all those other things working on the pelvic floor. So yeah, if you recommend a pose from yoga, like the Warrior Two or something very specific, it's a lot of deeper pelvic trauma that I have that I can't access through a lot of the traditional physical work that's out there. So
right. And then, as others have mentioned, the sacral chakra. So, and with that sacral chakra, the color there is orange. So incorporating the color as well. That's some often don't think of that. Even with the foods, one thing I was pulling some cards, and the nutrition cards came up. So, orange foods such, as a squash or those little baby oranges, so things like that, wearing the color orange. Within that sacral chakra is also that place of creativity. You physically create life from that space, but then also, the life that you want to create for yourself. And the joy, that's a place too where we're creative in life, in joy, certainly the sexuality, but just kind of connecting back to finding that joy, that creative spark, and thinking of the life that you want to live, that you want to create, and where you might be blocking yourself. Especially being a mom, we put the kids first, we put our partner first, and sometimes we, like on the airplane, you need to put your own oxygen mask on first and reconnect back. And it's the sacral chakra is down in that center, so connecting back to your center. Certainly, Reiki can help, as far as breaking up some of those blockages. And as far as cord cutting, I sense that it's more than just a cord. It might even be like a hook. So it's something that might take some time. Some people, they really get in there really deep. So it's more than just a cord that you can cut.
That's probably why I'm having struggles.
Yeah, you really have to come back. But another thing too within that sacral chakra is the worry and fear. And a couple other cards that came up is I see beyond the limits of my fears and worries. I know there is more in store for me.
Okay.
And so really having that belief in yourself that good things are for you. And I get to live my life abundantly when I release worry and anxiety. So it's interesting that both cards were worry and anxiety. And when you're blocked, within that space, you can't live that abundant, joyful, creative life. So, maybe looking at, what are you afraid of? What are you worrying about? What's, that mountain that you climb, you were meant to climb, not carry. So
Well, thank you. You're right on. And my fear is down the road, which I'm about to go see. And it also is the reason I create. So I do have really healthy practices around art and creativity that I use my fear and turn it into that. But I think I'm really starting to get into this, like the layers all beyond that are still kind of left over. And I really love what you said about orange, because I do take the colors and the elements from the chakras and then try to play with them until I understand them. And fire a while ago, and yellow was big after divorce. And I spent a year diving in with that. So I hear you. I might bring more orange in now. So I thank you for that reminder.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you said you have to go. So do you have?
I think I can go like it's like a mile down the road. So I think I can probably go one more.
Okay, Saidi, go
That's
ahead,
okay.
and then I'll say a few more things at the end if we have time.
Okay.
Go ahead, Saidi.
Oh, she went, right?
She has something else. If you want to share quickly, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just as I was listening, I just kept. Part of what I work with is sound a lot, and I'm seeing so many layers to this, you know, and the sound frequencies really go beyond, you know. I know we've been talking about some physical stuff, but I just really feel like that's it. I think it's more energy that is in the physical, you know, that's manifested in the physical expression. So sound frequencies, tuning forks, drums, rattles to break it up. A rattle will really break it up. And then anything soothing, that's I see that like really getting in there and just clearing it out, you know, healing sound.
Everything on my body just like lit up when you said sound. It's the one place I haven't whatever the word is, dived into.
Well, that's what we're made out of frequency. We are made out of frequency, and it gets stuck, and the sound frequencies go in there and hear it out. So
the instrument is blocked. I hear you. Okay.
Susan, that answered earlier, does sound healing too. And I say, you know the pose that you don't love?
Yeah, I know.
Anger and so the big thing for me is willingness.
Are
you willing to cut these cords?
I'm willing to be a lion, Lorelei. I'm gonna be like,
and then I just say,
brush my teeth extra.
I know, well, it turns out Laura lives down the street, so we can do this in person. So
I know, my fear and my other, what's the other energy? My passion? I don't know. It's both down the street.
There are various ways, yeah. There are various ways of doing this too, but an example of how you can cut the cords right now. Right? So that is him, and I'm stepping out one direction, my foot and that is him, and this is me.
Yay!
Right? So that is him, and this
swap out.
So
swap
stepping
it out.
and moving, and so it's energetically shifting the cords and moving the two sides of your brain. And I think it's changing up the neurons.
Oh my gosh.
So stuff you can do, it can be that simple as you get it integrated.
Changing at a rapid pace. Thank you all so much. I have to go. So I will check if I can get back on, I will, but thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for letting Laura go first.
Thank you. Yeah, really.
Maybe your chat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so Laura was here on our call on Friday, and turns out she lives like literally down the street, like on the same practical street. It's amazing. So la la la. All right, great, thanks. Okay, and I know not everyone got to answer. So is there anyone else that wants to say anything to Laura's question that'll be here in the recording that everyone else might be able to hear too? I know we were going quickly. Just checking if anyone wanted to say.
Yeah, I did have something I wanted to share with her. But first of all, I just want to put a little bit of wonderful herbs in the air for all of us, and just creating this beautiful golden bubble around all of us. You know, in cyberspace, there's no distance, and in metaphysical and quantum space, there's no distance. So I'm putting this beautiful protective bubble around us to create a sacred protected space here. And I just wanted to say that real quickly. And so to you, I forgot the wonderful person's name. What was
Laura?
her name?
It's Laura.
Laura. So Laura, for you, a couple of things that came up from me was, one was speaking to your body, especially your pelvis, sort of like, hi pelvis, I love you. Thank you for doing such a wonderful job. Thank you for being part of me. What would you like to tell me, what do you need from me? It's like using a dialogic kind of approach with this part of your body, and being very sweet and very welcoming to it, and you will be surprised that you will hear something, you will hear an answer. It's a really wonderful technique to connect with different aspects of your personality, of your being, and also different parts of your body. And then the other thing that I saw was like, I did this years ago when my pelvis felt very tight, but it was a psychological experience or a spiritual experience. And I was imagining first with breathing, I imagined with each breath for my pelvis to open up. And then I saw my pelvic floor, and I started seeing it as like the universe, like it became transparent until I could start seeing the stars, and I saw galaxies swirling, and just kind of letting it really open and connect with the universe. And when I say universe, I meant, all there is and beyond what we can imagine. So in a way, that's like using magic. And I think that might also be helpful to you. And I'm mentioning all of this in case you watch this back.
Thanks, Henry. Anything else anyone wants to share? Go ahead, Parneet.
Actually, I was listening to all your responses, and I think we were all very much concerned about cutting cords and working on the pelvic area and all of this stuff. And really, when I do healings on people, it's not just the one part of it. There's entirely other psychosis around why you're having that issue. And what really was jumping out at me during all of this was, I think that there's something stuck from past lives as well. So in a lot of my sessions, when I'm doing the actual healing, not the mediumship, is I do go into past lives and cut cords in that sense, because that's sometimes you're carrying stuff and you can't really relate it to this particular lifetime. So I just wanted to say that if she's listening, that there might be some past life work as well that will help in all of this. And of course, it's not, like I said, just the pelvis. It could be the whole entire issue around relationships that could be causing this too. So that's it. Thank you.
No, that's great. That's great. They say a few things too. So personally, right, I have early life sexual trauma that I did not know about when, however long this was now, almost 20 years ago. My Relfer I kept needing to get adjusted in some way, like my Relfer couldn't help me. I don't think I was seeing a network chiropractor, couldn't do it. They sent me to an osteopath, and the second or third try with the osteopath, she said it's not physical, like it's energetic, psychological kind of thing. So I ended up seeing a somatic therapist, and not then, but later, I eventually opened up my sexual trauma. And so again, I think it was probably connected to my pelvis. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it must have been. And so that's where, right, the psychological, the energetic matters so much. And so healing the sexual trauma, healing enough of that really is what made that shift for me. And that's part of why, right, the different physical things don't do enough on their own, right? It's messages from our body and the things to look at. And along the way, so I believe in saying things and using our body as a way of checking for integration and embodiment. And so one of the lines for me that I'm still living into that was given to me is, I'm radiantly sexual and absolutely safe. Right? So how to express my sexuality while knowing that I'm safe and creating my safety. And so just along the way, there can be different affirmations, and that's related to the energy of willingness. It's like, I'm willing for this to be true, right? And me being able to say it and stay in my body, right? So evidence of me stepping through all this stuff. So yeah, it totally can be all kinds of layers and past lives and yeah, just and trauma that so many like women, non-binary people have faced, and men sometimes too. So yeah, all sorts of things. So thanks so much, Laura, for asking such a big, deep question. I know like her computer is still on, and this is going to be in the recording for her as well. And I know a little bit more of the backstory from our conversation yesterday. And yeah, you're all not knowing, right? Of course, you're all heading in the right direction. What I know. All right. So in line, we have Verna, Caitlin, Mary, and Dr. H. And I'll go check and see if there's anyone else. So Verna, you're next. Get you up here in spotlight. All right. What is your question?
Oh, whoops. Am I unmuted?
You are.
That's a pin. I'm pinned. Okay.
You're spotlighted. You are.
So I have a couple things going on, but my main question is about my intuition. If my intuition is being, if my, how do I put this? My mental illness is overshadowing my intuition, or if my kind of icky feelings about a couple of people in my life are actually, I actually have foundation and something that I need to watch out for. The people I'm talking about are not open communicators. One is someone I worked for yesterday, doing some organizing and cleaning and stuff with or for, and was very uncomfortable, and I couldn't figure it out because her actions were like nice and kind, but a sense I got was not it. There was like something, there was like, so there's that disconnect. And then I had surgery 4 weeks ago on my appendix, and that area has been affected ever since, like just in a lot of ways that are not, I feel like are not physical, because I'm healing fine, blah, blah, blah. So those two things. And as far as soul's purpose, I feel like that's a discussion for another time, because I'm struggling with just day to day. How do I put one foot in front of the other and send off a card that I've been meaning to send for 2 weeks, that kind of shit. So thanks. That's my questions.
Yeah.
Answer whichever one you want.
Yeah, thanks for giving us a field of kind of context and see where we want to go. Yeah. All right, Henry, go ahead.
Hi, Verna.
Hi.
Hi. I'm going to put a pin on you so I can see you better. Hi, there you are. So the first thing that came up from me was, with regard to mental illness, I think that we're all so disconnected from ourselves by being disconnected from the earth that we're all struggling a little bit with our sanity, and especially during this pandemic. And I think that there obviously are degrees, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, so I can't, I wouldn't want to diagnose you, and it would be inappropriate, and you didn't ask for that. And at the same time, I think there is a spiritual way of looking at that, or an ecological way of looking at that. And
sure,
regardless of whether this is true, that it's overshadowing your intuition, or if it's not, I think the best beautiful thing you can do for yourself is trusting yourself, trusting your feelings. If you don't feel comfortable with someone, then don't feel comfortable with them. I think that it's self-harming when we force ourselves to have a different experience than the one that we're having. Do you know? Does that make sense? And so I think, though, that you don't need to be passive in terms of, this person gives me a bad feeling, and I'm kind of like, now what do I do? Especially I'm still working for them, and I'm kind of stuck here. Laureli was saying gaslighting oneself. Yeah, you don't ever want to do that. I mean, I've been there. I think we've all done it, and it's just not a good consequence to that. And I think what you can do is you can take action, which is, do you do a golden bubble or some kind of a psychic protection for yourself? Do you have a practice like that?
No, I've taken little talismans with me before, or like I've carried around a crystal with me sometimes.
Yeah, so actually literally doing psychic protection has a profound impact. I'm not sure what exactly that means, because we're not talking in an area that there's no science that backs that up. But I can tell you that when you're visualizing protection, it affects how you feel and how you become better protected. I've been doing this for many years and get better and better at it. So like you can put a grounding cord between you and that person and then send whatever is emanating from them down that grounding cord. These kind of visualizations are powerful. There's actually some research that supports that people who are visualizing doing physical lifting weights and people who are actually lifting the weights, the difference in the muscle gain is very small. They're both gaining muscle. So what you're visualizing has manifests in the real world to some extent. So I think that would be really, really good for you to do that. And also with regard the surgery you just had. So there's like trauma in your body that even though it's healing, it's doing biologically what it knows how to do. But if you can also think of this area of your body as like its own person, and you can say, hey, body, like I mentioned earlier with the other person, with Laura, hey, body, what are you going through? And I love you and you're safe. And like, just talk to your body, talk to this area. Because what we often do is kind of blocking. Okay, I see the sign. So blocking this area of our body because we're nervous about it. But instead, like send some golden light to it, speak to it and love it and embrace it. And also, I'm not trying to advertise, but I did not put something in the chat about a class I offer. So I'm going to ask Laureli to put something like that in it. Is that something about that in the chat in case you're interested?
Great. Thank you, Henry. Appreciate that.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what you want me to add to your special. Thanks, Henry. Yeah, anyone else ready to go?
Yeah, I can jump in there.
Okay.
Hi, Verna.
Hi.
So I was listening to you when you were talking about what's going on with you, and I just feel that don't spend too much time thinking about what is wrong with you. There is no such thing really as mental illness unless you give it energy. And you are intuitive, you are feeling things, you are getting vibes from people that you said it right out loud that, they're being nice to you, but you're feeling icky about it. That is your intuition. So trust that you are a whole and complete person. And don't let, some stigma or something that's been said to you at some point define you. I think you can overcome anything in this world that you want, if you want to, bad enough. I think we sometimes put labels on ourselves and then we get stuck on those labels. So I think it's just a little bit of, letting go and just believing in yourself, believing that you can do things. And so what if it takes you 2 weeks to mail a letter? Sometimes I forget. It's not that important. But you're here, you made it to this session. So, be proud of that. You're able to ask a question. So you're on the right track. And I really feel that there's nothing wrong with your intuition. Trust it and just go with it. So I hope that makes sense to you.
It does. It does. Definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It is challenging to marry the both worlds within what I know to be true for me and what the ideal is. Like ideally I can overcome anything without help, or without Western medicine, but also I know for me, right, anyway. But yes, I thank you. Thank you for your input.
Yeah, anyone else want to go? Yeah, I say a little bit. The thing that did stand out for me, and Henry touched upon it too, is you asking the question of like you have this negative feelings towards people, and is that like is there something there that's true? I say that's true, and I say I think it's so important to trust yourself. You know that you're getting some message of not liking something, right? You're getting some message of no, and you don't know. And this is the places to ask questions. Is it no for me right now? Is this person a no for me? Is the energy of this person a no for me? You know, you don't necessarily know what it is. Part of it may be that they remind you of someone that's historic and you have the no to that energy. It could really be that person. It could be the way you're interacting, right? Or connecting with them right now, right? And then I feel I've had a sense of picking up that people were creepy. I'll just call it creepy because when I'm young, I didn't know what that was. That was just the only thing I could express, you know. And then I realized later, like, oh yeah, there probably is crossing of boundaries, energetic and sexual, and like so. I totally pick up stuff not knowing what it is, and I pick up the things that can be more related to my own past, right? So you may be experiencing something with that person, some subtle in the dynamic that's related to a way that you weren't honored and or didn't know how to honor yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I trust that there's something there that's true for you. Then the art of that is sorting out what is that thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Laureli.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And unless, does anyone else have something? Otherwise, I just wanted to honor what you said, Parneet. I felt like I was kind of, yeah, I just want to honor what you said. And I realized that I do have a block that I put on myself. That's because of how I've been diagnosed by other people in the past, by professionals. So, and I realized that there's a block within me to receiving the type of guidance that I might otherwise get from people who are also professionals, but in this realm. So I hope that's.
Thank you, Verna. I was just going to say that, you know, I'm not trying to downplay the medical profession because they do have their merit.
Right.
But I, on an intuitive psychic level, can see a lot more there than, you know, the doctors can. So that's why I said, I think that, you know, it's just really fighting through and believing in yourself more than anything, and believing that you do have a gift and you are able to communicate and express yourself. So go with your strengths and not your weaknesses.
Okay. Thank you. Saidi?
Yeah, Saidi and then Henry.
Hi, Verna.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
What's
What?
Sorry, did you ask a question?
I said, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I can take in more.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Just commenting on the mental health diagnosis. The concern about that is that there are other, gosh, I had it all in my mind a second ago, kind of lost it. I think that people can be really quick to make diagnoses, and there's, you know, such a broad spectrum, and it's having gone through just knowing about that profession and my own schooling and education in academia and learning a lot about different diagnoses and stuff. There's just a lot that's left off the table. So you're here and you're questioning, and it does sound like you have a lot of intuition, but you're having some challenges in trusting it. And that's a big part of of why we can get labeled. We can easily get labeled because we aren't supported to trust ourselves in this society. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're asking questions. I'm glad you're getting support and getting supported to trust your intuition, because it's rarely wrong, trusting your body and and going with that. And I would say start exploring that. And when you do have those feelings of something doesn't feel right, just act on that and do what does feel right for you. And the more you try that out, the more you're going to get confidence in trusting that feeling for yourself. So, and I know, having gone on my own path with that, it takes a while because we're conditioned to trust all this outside external stuff and all these other systems. So it is a journey, and it's a leap of faith. It's trust. It's confidence, even when it's hard. So yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
It looks like Henry has a little bit more, and then if the others haven't gone yet, if you have something you want to share, go ahead.
Vern, I'm going to try to make it really short. So diagnosis, and I've been diagnosed recently with ADHD, and that was a powerful just punch in the head. And I've had other diagnoses in my life, in other parts of my life. Some of them were just false, some were not. And what I do know, so I'm going to say that again, some were false and some were not. And so what I do know is they're powerful. Diagnosis, especially the way the medical community positions itself and situates itself with great authority, that even adds more power to it. And so so much of mental health is like a conglomeration of symptoms, and then it's given a name, and then boom, you have it. So I would say, no doubt, that the fact that you sought it out and the fact that it was given to you, there's something you're experiencing that corresponds with the diagnosis, which supports and empowers the diagnosis. So I think that that's something to be aware of, that it's pointing to something real, but that doesn't mean that the diagnosis and everything that's involved with it is just as real as the thing that you are experiencing. So I think it would help you to disengage them from each other. So what am I actually experiencing? I know it's been given that name, but what am I actually experiencing? And
Right.
Self-talk, loving, caring self-talk with yourself has a profound impact on that, because the body gets scared, especially when it gets a diagnosis. It goes, oh, is that true about me? Oh my God, now I have it's like a child that you go boo. And it's like, oh, it's scared. So your body has some fear, but you, with your mind who's asking this question, who's sitting here in the fullness of your being, you can speak to your body and you can assure it and you can listen to it and have it tell you what it needs.
Great, thank you.
And context matters. So maybe it's a continuum, and maybe it's all in the same sphere of psychotic and psychic opening, right? It really depends on context. And the context where we put ourselves too. I lived in Portland for a couple of years, and I consistently got the feedback that I was doing too much, like just relax, slow down. And so the solution for me was to move to Seattle, where people don't mind that I do so much. So it really depends on where you put yourself and where you hold all of your ideas. Go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. Thanks, Laureli.
One thing that came forward really, because we've been talking a lot about diagnosis, and one thing that really comes through for me is diagnosis does not define. Diagnosis might explain why you're having certain experiences, but it doesn't define who you are. You define who you are. And so quieting the chaos that's going around, yes, I was given this diagnosis, and that explains some of the experiences that I'm having. But at my heart, at my core, at my center, this is who I am. I get to define, I am this person with this diagnosis. I am not this diagnosis. So one thing that helps me with that is just taking time to put my hands on my heart and then draw in my, even, close my eyes, just shut out the outside world, take some deep breaths, and just really go within, connect back to myself, and let go of the expectations, the woulds, the coulds, the shoulds that the world puts on me, that I put on myself, and just breathe and be with myself. And take a moment just to acknowledge what's around you, be it sound, be it people that have helped you, but also take some time to acknowledge that support, that help that's within you, that sound of your own breath, that sound of your own heartbeat. So I hope that that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. I really appreciate that too.
Great. Anyone else want to share something with Verna?
I think I'm full.
Thank you, Verna. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I
everybody.
say we, like the MeWe community, we care about you. You've been with us for a while. A lot of us know you.
Thanks.
All right. Caitlin is next. Okay, Caitlin, I'm bringing you up on screen. What is your question?
I just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay.
We can, yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of the ladies from the panel talked about like redefining purpose. And I did come to this panel session to see about like career. And I have a lot of things that have recently happened with like transitioning into a new space, like moving back to a place where I've lived before. So it kind of feels like I'm going backwards in a way. But I have a beautiful community where I previously lived, where I'm being redirected to. So yeah, I'm just wondering what you guys pick up on in this place called Durango, where I'm potentially moving back to.
Durango, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I was in Colorado before I was in Portland. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Caitlin. So a couple things came up for me right away. And the first thing is that you said that you kind of feel like you're going backwards because you're going where you've already lived. And I wanted to show, hopefully this shows up, like the spiral, right? So even if you're in the same place, you've expanded outwards, you've grown, and you're seeing it from new angles and new perspectives. You're taking all that you've learned and how you've grown, and you're bringing it back to a place you've already been. So I invite you to sort of kind of get rid of the idea that, you're going backwards, and it's more of like this spiral that's not only growing outwards, but upwards, right? So you're expanding, and it's sometimes incredibly helpful to go back to where you've been before. And when you were talking, like, I pulled a couple of cards, and all of the cards are just super expansive and positive. I pulled the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Six of Wands. And it's so much celebration, so much promise, like these new horizons kind of feeling. And
it does feel
very
different this time. Yeah.
Awesome.
I totally, yes, that resonates with me because it feels different this time on like an energetic level.
Awesome.
Thank you for the spiral. That was very helpful.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Karen. Yeah, who else has something for Caitlin?
I can go if you.
Go ahead.
Actually, it's I picked out 3 cards, but I use a different deck just when I need some inspiration. And even though you said, at first you said, I'm going back and, back to where I started sort of thing, I wasn't getting the oh boy, here I go back again. I got that more like, no, I think it's going to be different. It just had a different feeling. So the cards I picked were, you have to take that leap of faith, because that's what it's all about. And there is hope and happiness in this new venture. I call it a new venture because it's not an old venture, it's a new venture. And so I want you to go back with that feeling that you're now going to be of service in a different way. And whatever your past was there, it can't be that bad because you are going back there. So, but now you're going to be so much more well-versed in who you are as a person from the last time you were there. So just like she used that spiral thing, yes, you're expanding. You've expanded already. And now you're going in there with a different purpose. So getting back to your purpose and, you know, the career and all that, I feel like it's definitely going in the right direction. And that's where I'm feeling that with this will come a lot of other new opportunities that you didn't have before, or you didn't think you had before. So go in there with that, I'm going to say, fresh set of eyes from the experience of not being there for the last little while. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does, because I'm here right now in Durango, and I lit an owl candle before I left, and on my way here I saw an owl. And so when you said eyes and perspective, you know, like owls can turn their entire like head around, and so they have lots of perspective. So yeah, that resonates with me, like a new perspective. Yeah. So thank you. New venture.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Great. Anyone else ready? Go ahead, Susan.
Karen's spiral made me think of a labyrinth. And sometimes when you're walking a labyrinth, I don't know if you've ever done it, but if you haven't, I would encourage you to find one. But sometimes when you're walking a labyrinth, you don't know what's next. And you just have to trust and take that next step. And so I would encourage you to let go of the need to know how it will all work out, and trust that it will, and be willing to take that next step, even though you can't necessarily see the whole thing, if that makes sense. And then a couple other cards that came up, both had something to do with music. So I don't know if you're a musical person, or if music really, you know, inspires you or helps you with difficult times. But with music, you know, we have to practice, right? We don't get it right the first time. And so that might be something like this. Practice is progress. So maybe the first time you were there, that was some practice. And now you're coming in a different place with new information, with new experiences, and, you know, just being willing to take those steps, even if you don't necessarily know what the next one's going to be. Just trust the journey.
Thank you. I wanted to show you something that came up for me today. If that's okay, it's just like a little saying thing. It says, I got you, just control your mind, said the universe. And it's like the universe holding you, you know, and I just thought that was so cool. Yeah. So it's like exactly what you're saying, you know, just trust that the universe has your back. Yeah. And let go of like the need to know everything. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else ready to share with Caitlin? Go ahead, Henry.
Okay, I'm going as fast as I can to pull the cards for you. I'm going to show you 3 cards, and I'm not going to tell you what I think they mean. Do you know how to take a screenshot?
Yeah.
You should be able to screenshot that, because I think that you know what they mean. Okay, let me do the screen share. Okay. And I pulled them not in this order. Oh, I gotta change. Oh my gosh. Okay, I will tell you what the order was. because this order is not quite right. Okay. Okay, can you see these?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can now.
Okay, great. So the first one that I pulled was happiness.
Okay.
And the second one I pulled was magic. And the third one that I pulled was creativity.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. These are my own cards. So
You
thank you.
made these cards?
Yeah, I'm working on
Oh
my own
my
deck.
God.
So it's a 30 card tarot and oracle deck. So it has more than just the trumps. It's 30 trumps. Anyway, so I think that this answers your question. I have a ton of ideas of what this could mean, but the way I like to work with people when I share, you have it, right?
Yes.
You have them. Okay, great. Let me. Okay, stop share. Okay, great. The way I like to work with people is that I do tell them what I see, but I first want them to see what they're seeing, because I don't want to put myself in the position of that I know something you don't, so I have more power than you around this, because that is not serving you. So I like to always invite people to talk about what they see and what the message is for them, because that is your truth. What you're seeing in that is your truth, and no one knows your truth better than you do. In fact, you're probably the only one who does know your truth. So after the session, after this panel, or whenever you feel right, sit with these cards and let them speak to you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Anyone else ready to share? Maybe most of us have gone around. Yeah, I'll say, so I think one of your natural talents is called artisan. It's about pleasure, freedom, creativity, and energy. My sense is that you are fairly sensitive to energy. And but I'm imagining that something felt kind of overwhelming in Durango before. It might have been people and the interactions with people. So I deeply appreciate that you're in Colorado, in a city that has so much nature. Like, I imagine that's really grounding of you. And so spending enough time in nature is really important. Spending time in nature, not only because it's so good for you in particular, but also I think it helps you get reconnected to your own rhythms. We talked about sound healing earlier, and so nature and all of the rhythms and sound help you connect with your own rhythms. So continuing to be back in nature is a way of grounding. And if you happen to be around, so connecting with new people while you're there might be important. Like, you've grown and changed. And so being with people that match where you are now might be important. And then as you have interactions that don't feel good, taking yourself out of those interactions and situations, and listening to yourself, I think you're more aware of your own subtle signals. And so letting yourself take action on those things, and then continuing to re-present yourself. And it's kind of like slate clean, like anytime anything doesn't go so well and you feel, get yourself grounded again and just clean. It doesn't matter if it was just yesterday, you can start fresh. So those are some of the things that.
The slate clean thing is good, because like I have a lot of triggers sometimes, like when people say certain things where it's like I'll think that I'm doing something wrong, or like I become like I have a lot of grief, or it's weird. It's like oh, I'm sorry I said something, when like those are my feelings and I should express them. So when those things do happen, I do ask my healing masters to help me clear my space. So,
And
yeah,
it's like nature being a good way. And really, to me, your masters, it's all your willingness to have your space cleared. Mm-hmm. And all kinds of things can work as you're willing. And it's the knowing that you're worthy of having your space cleared, regardless of what just was. Yeah. Great. And so there's anything else
did anyone pick up? Sorry, did anyone pick up on like career, or I'm supposed to switch fields?
I was gonna say, so I think you have a lot of sensitivity to energy, and so being in a place where the energy is really good. keep seeing you connected to nature, like some innocence of life. So nature or children, or I just somehow seeing you inside a box with too many electronics. Even though you might have done something like that before, I feel more pain around that. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. I like don't do good at like admin office jobs. Like it's just too much.
No,
too
it's
much
like
screen time.
to be part of you can, and then the other parts of you, it's just too harmful, too hurtful. So yeah, I just have you explored shamanism and wilderness guide work and things like that?
I was looking at something like that today.
Yeah, those seem like good directions to go in. So like you might get a job that's a taxi job right now, like a job that gets you from here to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So you want to find a job that has the least negative impact on your energy, right? Get you the money that you want to earn, and then focus on these other things that you're learning in the direction you're going. That'll be your path. It looks like Karen's got something to share.
Totally random, but pet communicator keeps dropping in for me. So I just wanted to pass that along.
Yeah, that's totally in alignment with all the things I pick up too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a like intuitive psychic class right now every Tuesday, and pets, like I can feel my childhood pets around me like all the time.
Awesome.
And like the crows, like birds, like when I'm outside, like in nature, like there's always a crow over my shoulder, like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I got something to tell you. Like, yeah.
Got the goosebumps from that. So
yeah.
We have 4 panels happening on March 12th. One of them is on medical intuition for people and animals, including animal communication. So, and we have some past ones that are recorded that are up online too.
I'll definitely be there.
Animal communication. I saw something, was that Susan, or is it just agreeing with, maybe just, I feel like I saw something somewhere, who knows, might have been someone up in the audience too. Great. All right, anything else for Caitlin? Yeah, Caitlin, does that address your questions now? Great, thank you so much.
I've been doing kind of the same job for a long time, and it's really hard on my body. So I'm just trying to figure out what my next move is.
What is it you're doing? Have been doing?
I own my own cleaning business.
Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So my body's like, can you stop?
Yeah. So what Verna actually just said that she was helping someone with organizing. So cleaning and organizing is a more of a natural blend. I have a client that calls it being a clutter coach. Evidently, younger generation likes coaching. So yeah, clutter coach works really well for her. So that's not as hard on your body, and a lot of the same clientele might be interested. So you have connections already.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you care about energy of space. And so I just say all kinds of ways of working with space and working with the energy of people's space connected to all in there too. Just might, again, same kinds of clients.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Caitlin. All right, we've got Mary and then Dr. H that I know of in line so far. Yeah, animal cleaner and walker. Exactly. That's to say, during the pandemic, evidently that's been in like huge need, and people pay reasonably well for animal sitting and walking, like dog walking and things like that. Yeah, animal cleaner and walker. Because Thomas mentioned that, but I totally agree. It's great. All right, Mary, let me get you up on screen. Yeah, so Caitlin, you might look for a job where you can work for someone that takes care of animals already, or like, I should say, what is it? Like mobile dog washing and things like that. And yeah, all that kind of stuff. Hey, Mary. All right, you're on your question.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
We are good.
So I have a couple things going on here. Actually, I'm trying to figure out who I'd like to work with, which is why I keep coming back to these panels. And just trying to figure out the vibes that I'm getting from different people. And there's 2 that I definitely have, come across. I jumped into somebody else's though, and they kind of told me that I've pretty much just been, my soul has just been like, I've just been moving along and just not living, but living, but not really any true purpose of what I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Pretty much I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm 63 years old. Somebody said they were old earlier. No. I'm 63 years old and still trying to figure out life. And it's okay. I'm finding out it's okay that I'm doing that, and I'm okay with it. So I don't know. I like I said, I'm just trying to figure out, because I know I need some help. I know I need somebody to help guide me. And that's where I'm trying to figure it out.
Great. And the words that were coming to me when you're sharing is you've been living, but you haven't actually felt alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And Henry is ready. So Henry, go ahead.
Hi, Miss Henry.
Hi, Mary. So Mary, you started a sentence, and I believe that finishing that sentence might be helpful. My soul has been, and then you didn't finish it.
Well, that's they just, when they said that to me, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, I'm here, I'm surviving, I'm doing what I have to do.
Tell me about your soul. My soul has been
just probably taking care of other people instead of taking care of myself is the best way to answer that.
Yeah, so you kind of been focused outward.
Exactly.
Rather than inward. So
yes.
What would happen if you focused inward?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you do know, because you're not focusing inward for a reason.
Right.
You kind of check, what happens, what would happen if you focused inward? Try it right now and see what happens.
Just to take care of myself and to be kind to myself.
So, and what stands in the way of that?
I don't know.
You do know. Imagine for a moment that you know.
Okay.
What comes up for you?
I've not really deep delved into myself to try to figure things out.
Yeah. Because when you do, that's very challenging.
Did you get loose out there?
Because you may not, it's kind of risky. What will you find, and what do you do with what you find?
Just in case it gets out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scary to
there
do
you
that.
have it. You see, scary. This is the big word right here. I put like the big word scary. So when I was asking you how come you haven't listened into your soul, you didn't really know how to answer, but you just answered it as scary. And it's actually less scary to take care of other people.
Right.
So there's just this little hurdle to overcome. It's actually not a really big one, of like just sitting with yourself, breathing a little bit deeply and just going, okay, what's there? Just asking that question, what's there? Hello, what's there? And then this part of you will start speaking to you. However, there's this little moment to sit down and ask that question and then to fall silent and wait. That can be very anxiety inducing. right? Can make very nervous. Oh, it's easier if I scroll on my phone, or it's easier if I change the channel. It's easier if I get up and make myself an absolutely massively necessary cup of tea, et cetera, et cetera. So just be prepared for that. So learn a little bit of, and I'm just gonna finish the sentence, learn a little bit of how to do breath work so you can raise your parasympathetic tone to get ready so you can actually put yourself in a position of asking your soul to tell you what it needs.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Thanks, Henry. Karen.
So what I have to say is very similar to what Henry had to say. I was writing down when you said that you just need someone to guide you. I said, does Mary really need someone to guide her? Or is that what is holding you back? It feels like you've given away your own authority. You are searching without, instead of asking yourself the questions and trusting that you have information within. And so I would challenge you to start writing every day and just start asking yourself all of the questions you've been asking others. And then just see what comes out. Because it feels like you have a lot of wisdom that you've locked within you. And you have complete access to it. All that it takes is a flip of the switch to be like, oh, I'm worth listening to.
Okay.
Okay. So anywhere that you've given away your own authority, just reclaim it. Just take it back. Remind yourself that you are trustworthy and you are wise, and to be your own guide. And
Okay.
start asking those questions. And you can use tools, right? You can use cards to help bring images forward. You can do intuitive journaling. You can meditate on a question and see what comes forward. You can ask for signs and then just be open to receiving them throughout your day. But it really feels like you've silenced yourself. And in fact, when Henry kept saying, my soul has been, and asking for you to answer, what kept screaming in my head was, my soul has been silenced.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Glad that resonated. Absolutely.
Yes, most definitely.
Thanks, Karen. Saidi.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Saidi.
Hi. Going along with what both Henry and Karen have shared, I have been doing this practice the past week or so that's been really inspiring, and it just everything that's been said made me think that it might be beneficial for you. And it's sort of a kind of channeling, but it's using writing. And so getting your notebook in the morning or whenever, I guess it doesn't really matter what time of day, but just writing down the question, what does my soul have to tell me today? And just see what comes out. You know, because we are amazingly powerful. Our higher selves can talk to us that way. And then we could just bypass our logical mind and just see what comes out, see what the messages are for you. And you can ask any questions of your soul or higher self in the same way. But that's a great one to just get started just every day and just see what comes out and what your own guidance is. And it's a great way to start listening to yourself and connecting to your higher self in that way.
Right. I like that. Resonates. Yes.
Yay.
Great, great. Anyone else ready to share with Mary?
I can go ahead.
Sure.
Hi, Mary. It was interesting listening, and I do agree with the previous answers. But what I was drawn to was, what does Mary want to be when she grows up?
Honestly, I have never been able to answer that. And now my answer is retired.
Well, then that's what you got, retired. So let's not just stop there. Let's now create that Mary that was always meant to be.
Right.
And I do agree, writing, journaling is a great way to go. I just feel like, give yourself some credit. You've come a long way. Nothing's lost. It's all about learning. And I don't think there's ever a time where you're always going to say, oh, I think I am where I'm at.
Right.
Because like everybody, even if, if you've reached certain goals or whatever they are, you're never going to be fully satisfied with them. You're always going to want more, and you want to expand yourself. You're never going to say, okay, this is it. Now I'm retired. I can sit back and do nothing. So now you can say, no, I still have time ahead of me. What do I really want to do? Let's write down our feelings, express ourselves, and see where that leads us, because just the art of expression opens up possibilities. And so I want you to not worry too much about the destination. It's the journey.
Okay.
Embrace the journey, because that's more important. There is no, the final destination is, where it is. But in the meantime, enjoy the journey. Live each day fully as much as you can. And if you are helping people, great. But take time to help yourself too.
Right.
Look deep down inside yourself and say, okay, you know what? I'm not feeling like I want to do anything today. I'm just going to chill back and shut off my phone, whatever I need to, just so I can be me. And other days, I'm going to go out for a walk. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. So, I always say, don't put too many expectations on yourself and trying to get somewhere, because then you lose sight of the bigger picture. And what I call it, the clearer picture.
Okay.
Just like I said, take each day as it comes, and you'll be, and if you're open to possibilities, they will jump right out at you. They'll be handed to you without you even knowing it.
Right.
You have to be open to them and not get too stuck in the idea that you have to find something.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Anyone else?
I
No,
can
say-
just add on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Add on. I was just
Hi,
gonna say I can
Susan.
just add something really quick. Hi, Mary. Good to see you again.
Good to see you
That
too.
pink. So I love what the others have said. I think journaling can be really important, and just checking in with yourself. Like, what do I need? What would fill my cup? And just allowing yourself to ask the question and to notice and release the expectations. When we set those, we give ourselves that checklist of things that we have to do, and we wear busy like a badge, and sometimes we can be so busy trying to find ourselves and discover ourselves and write in the gratitude journal and do all the things. And sometimes the thing is to just set all that aside, to connect back to yourself, to say, what do I need right now in this moment? I'm here. I am grounded. I am supported. What do I need?
Awesome.
Just allow that silence to listen. Because I think, as others have said, a lot of times we have the answers within us, but we get so busy with all the could do's and should do's and need to do's, and that we don't really stop. We ask the question, but then we don't really stop to listen and to hear. So
Right.
just, allow yourself to observe, to ask the question, and to really listen and hear. So
Will
hope that
do.
was helpful.
Very much so. Thank you all.
Actually, I got a little bit I'm going to add.
Yes, please do.
So we've talked before that I think one of your talents is warrior. It's about efficiency, effectiveness, grounding, and practicality. Warriors tend to like to be in motion. They want to have energy moving towards results. So even though you're retired, even though we often see you sitting in a chair because you happen to be right on video with us, my sense is that you like things moving forward. And so I imagine that you have gifts, giving other people advice possibly, and helping move things forward. Right. So there's my sense is that you see all kinds of ways that things could work better. All around.
Definitely.
Right. So this is connected to some part of your purpose. So it's seeing really where it feels good to give that energy, that capacity to other people. Where is it wanted? Where does it feel good for you to contribute that? So look at the different environments in your life, communities that you're part of, people that you want to connect with, and see where someone might want that. because that's a really easy thing for you to give. It might have to do with physically doing some things, although I don't want you to get caught up in helping other people. I want you to be able to use your capacity to see how to get things done, to some
Right.
extent physically doing it, but yeah, where it really feels good to you to be giving that and you feel energized by it. Another thing I thought of as an exercise is, in some ways you follow through with what you want, right? You take action and you follow your like impulses, the energy through you. And then we've talked about there are all kinds of these other ways where you hesitate. So an exercise that could be good is grab something you can write on, and it could be an electronic device or, you know, paper or something, and give yourself just a short period of time, like it could be 15 minutes or something. And in a way that's, you know, safe for you, safe for your environment, but give yourself permission to do whatever you want. See what gets in the way of you doing what you want. So do what you want. And then what you write down is everything that has you not do what you want. What are the ways you hold yourself back? What do you tell yourself? How do you say, oh no, don't blah, 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 blah. Oh, I should blah, blah, blah. I feel scared of blah, blah. So write down all the things that get in the way of you following your impulses to see what the themes are.
Okay.
And giving yourself that permission for a short period of time to really follow them, like to touch or to drink or to like unfold or to call or to whatever it is. Right? Just practice letting yourself follow your intuition, your impulses more than you typically do, and you get to see what your blocks are and where to play with shifting things.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more question in line. If it goes quickly, we might have time for another question, or it might be a more expansive answer that we give. Dr. H is next, and Dr. H is ready to come up.
Good evening. My name is Heather. And first, I just want to thank each of you for the opportunity to share and learn in community. That is a community of care and also just of grace. And so, and also, Henry, I want to specifically just thank you for developing a deck that has more diverse representation. As someone who is looking at decks and becoming more familiar with them, yeah, I often feel othered in the process. So thank you. And then my questions for you all are, I think many people have, and Laureline, it's good to see you again. Well, thank you for inviting me into this community. I think many people have spoken to me that I have a gift or a connection, but it always shows up in a variety of different ways, or people say different things. And so I find myself in that all can't be true, then potentially none can be true. And so I want to maybe learn how to explore or honor what may be true for me. And then I think in tandem with that, though I consider myself like a person who moves forward positively, a number of people said that there's kind of like this, I'm going to say negative rider, and that I need to do some work to not continue to have them move forward with me. And so I guess my questions are really about like how to begin to walk on the path that maybe is designated for me, if there is a path, and how to not carry forward that negative rider if that is there. And I think that'll help towards like purpose.
Who did you take care of as a child? Which parent or which other adult?
Well, I think I just took care of myself. I was the only child. My mom worked a lot. And so potentially, and she's a white woman who was ostracized from her family for having a Black child. So I'm sure that we cared for each other.
Is this you and your mom?
Yeah.
And when you were 5, 6, 7, who did the household work?
Oh, me.
Yeah, so you did a lot of things that weren't typical of someone your age.
Correct.
Yeah, so you probably did hold a lot of other emotional space for your mom too. right?
That I don't know.
Yeah. Just wanted to go there a little bit for context. Yeah, if anyone's ready, go ahead and jump in. Go ahead, Susan.
For being here, Dr. H and Ms. Heather, and allowing us to be part of your healing journey. And what came to mind when you were talking about kind of holding space for that duality of not having it be all or nothing, and thinking of a time maybe where you were excited but also scared, where you were relieved but also sad, you know, and how you can hold space for those two things at the same time. So those are you know, just a couple of word examples, but you know, when you think of, you know, the vast, you know, emotions wheel, right, and think, you know, look at some of those emotions that are opposite each other, and times where you've experienced both, you know, being excited but also scared, or being, you know, you can have one and the other. It doesn't have to be or. And then with regard to the writers, just knowing that some people are only meant to be with your unhealed self, and that as you heal and grow, some people don't get to come along, and that's okay. You know, their purpose was maybe helping you in being that, you know, I don't want to say the word catalyst per se, but kind of in launching on that healing journey. And as you heal, you know, just like a scab, right? It helps with the healing, but eventually that scab gets sloughed off. And sometimes there's people in our life that have been with us for a long time, but they're not necessarily meant to continue with us. And that's okay. There again, we can hold that space of being grateful for what was, but being willing to move toward what's to come. If that's helpful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Henry.
So Dr. H, do you prefer Dr. H, Dr. Heather, or just Heather?
Heather.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. So you were saying, actually, can you explain to me what you mean by negative writer?
I don't want to say cursed or bad energy or something to that effect.
So you feel like a negative presence that is interfering with your life?
I don't know that I feel it. I don't feel it directly, but people tell me that's there, which makes me think like, I don't know if I'm like immune to it or
don't feel it,
or if it's there. No.
Okay,
but,
great.
But yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave that alone, because you're saying you're not feeling it. So you were also saying, you know, I have a gift. I've been told I have a gift, but I've been told I have so many different ones. So if, you know, if they can't all be true, so therefore maybe none of them are true. So what that reveals to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, what that seems to reveal to me is that you're asking other people rather than asking yourself. Is that true?
No, I'm not asking other people. Other people are telling me.
Oh, they're volunteering.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And
People
so then
who the heck you are.
Right? So then they're like, oh,
Okay.
you're a healer, or oh, you have
Okay.
psychic, or oh,
Right.
you're,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't know. But again,
I got
it's
it.
kind
So
of
I have an answer
okay.
for you. So what they're doing is they're playing the role of record producer. So I used to make records decades ago back in Germany, and what the producer does is they find somebody talented, in this case me, find somebody talented, and they pour their vision into that person and mold them into whatever they want. They don't ask that person what they want. So this happens less nowadays, where artists are more free. And so why that was is because I was exciting to them. I had something to offer that they could see, and then they were thinking of ways, how to superimpose their vision on that. And I think that's what's happening to you. You're a powerful presence. You are like, you exude strength, you exude competence, you exude clarity and concision and all of these things, and it's very attractive. And then if you give any kind of notion that you're not already solidly on your path, people begin to invest you with their own vision. Does that speak to you?
Yes.
And so I think probably, what do you think is a really good response to that?
Dabbling.
What is it?
Asking and dabbling, or trying, or exploring, or
So
remaining open.
Do you not know what you want?
I don't,
Okay.
but I'm just coming to be open to explore it.
Okay.
I feel like when I turned 50 this year, it just went,
yeah.
like, be
Okay.
open.
So then competence, strength, clarity, and concision, did that accurately describe you?
Yes.
Okay, great. So then the thing I recommend for you, I mean, obviously, if I were working with you, I would recommend that we just keep looking. But in this short period of time, what I can say to you is put these aside. This is I said that so simply, put these aside, but there's a big deal, because these are the strengths. This is how you have been running your life, and it's gotten you exactly where you are. So if you want to be somewhere else, these things, you got to put a pin in them. Don't get rid of them, just put a pin in them. So be non-competent, be non-strong, be non-clear, be non-concise. These are like these are strengths that are obscuring the truth, because your truth probably has to do with vulnerability. It has probably to do with intuition. It probably has to do with generalizing, generalizing your whatever you're going to be doing with, and larger worldview rather than this. And I saw that, Laura, bird's eye view rather than honing in and getting it right. So come out, let it be like water that flows rather than like particles that drop in a specific place. I hope this is useful to you.
Yes.
Great, thanks, Henry. All right, who else ready to share? We'll say, I can't remember our past interactions, but to me, your talents are scholar and priestess are two of them. And scholar can be very open and neutral and blank. And as they grow, they connect more with their own feelings and their intuition. And when scholars feel scared, they go back to being blank and open, and they're neutral in that they can be aware of all these different perspectives. And so it's harder sometimes for them to really know and trust their own perspective. Right? It can get clouded by all these other opinions because they hold space for them. So in priestess second wants to be good. So may want to allow everyone else's opinions in the field. There's really a healthy no in like, no, I want this space cleared and to discover for myself. So sometimes saying no really is being good, even though like we might have been taught like to be good is to say yes to all these other people. And notice the voice is often higher, and yeah, so rah. Yeah, so you have to roar before you find out what's right after the roar. Great. I love Henry's laughing. And it just for all of you on the call, if you don't know, I was a molecular biologist before I ran metaphysical and wellness events and was an intuitive eye reader. So the beginning doesn't have to say anything about what's next. Yeah, anyone else want to share with Heather? Go ahead, Parneet.
Hi, Heather. So it's interesting that you've been told a lot of things, that you are this and you're that and all those things. And I think it's great that, other people can see things. As far as this negative right or whatever that is, we won't touch on that because, again, it's people telling you stuff. It's time for you to believe in what's right for you. It's time for you to start discovering who you are. So I would say that if you're having any intuitive abilities or if you're feeling things, then that's an area for you to explore, to learn about. Never take from somebody that they think you are something, because then you get caught up in trying to prove them right. So let's not go that route. Let's go to that route that, okay, maybe it doesn't even interest me. So why am I going to even pursue it? Maybe that intuitive stuff, okay, it's there, but it's not really your forte. Could be something completely different. I've been told I can do a lot of things, but do I have the desire to do all those things? No. So it's really down to what you find interesting. If you're on these panels and you're listening to people with different modalities, some of those things could be very exciting for you and say, hey, you know what, maybe I should discover that. Maybe I want to learn about my own intuition. Maybe I want to, get into healings, that sort of thing. But again, it has to be what you're interested in. If people are saying things to you, I just love the way Henry said it about, projecting what they think on you. And you need to be stronger than that. No one can project their ideas onto you unless you allow it. So this is a time to really just step back and say, well, that's great, but that's not what I want to do. I would rather be doing this or rather be doing nothing at all. But it's your life, it's your decisions. So the best way to respond if somebody says, well, I think you can do this, well, just say, be frank. I'm not really interested. I've done that many times where people have said, oh, you should try this, you should do this. Sorry, no interest in that whatsoever. Move on. And that's the way it's got to be because not everybody can do everything. We know that. So pick and choose what you enjoy, what you want to do. And don't let other people tell you what you need to do. And that's the first step in really discovering what your own talents are. And they could very well be a lot of the things that people have already said, but now it's time for you to kind of narrow it down to something that you're interested in. So to explore that on your own without everybody else telling you what to do. I hope that helps.
It is helpful. I mean, I'm interested in all of it and I want to be of I hate to say this word, but I want to be of use in whatever capacity is of most help. And feels good to me, feels right. But when you are coming from a place that is so not contradictory is not the word, but so opposite, right? Analytical, molecular biologist to this shift, what I've been doing is so different that it's even hard to know what all of those possibilities actually mean. So that's why I'm trying to engage, to learn and to listen. Because my mother always said, you don't know what you're saying yes to. And so I would like to know a little bit about maybe what I'm saying yes to.
Well, that's where you trust your gut and you follow what feels right for you.
Thank you.
Yes, you can have opposites in anything. I'm a living contradiction. What I do here and what I've done are two totally different things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Parneet. We've got Saidi and then Karen.
Hi, Heather.
Hello.
Hi. What I was feeling for you initially was I was just feeling your the solar plexus, like coming down and being more in your power. And that's our power center. But then as I went there, it just kind of started going lower and lower down to the sacral chakra, center of our creativity and life force, and the root chakra, foundation home. And then went just down to our earth star chakra, like really getting back in touch with the earth and grounding down, and a really strong, powerful, divine feminine force and what that is. And I can just really feel those energies for you, how it might be good to really reconnect with the earth and the roots, and getting out of your mind, just getting really down into your body, into the connection with the divine mother, and tapping into those energies. And maybe, are you familiar with, do you work with your chakras or your energy body at all? Okay, cool. Have you worked with the Earth Star? No, okay.
No. Well, not that I know. I've done some Reiki work. I'm a level 2 practitioner, but I don't actually practice. Right. And so that's part of the challenge. So yes and no.
Something, it's one that isn't as we tend to work with. Most people know about the 7 chakras. That's kind of a focus, but the one below our feet is our Earth Star chakra, and that's just a lot more grounded. I think of it for me when I'm connected with outer work. I think of them, the Mother Earth, and many qualities, the creativity, passion, fierceness. I think for me, divine feminine can be a real fierce energy, but also receptive, and the unity, how all things work together on this planet, and the systems, and the beautiful, the creativity, and the nurturing, and it's all the things. So maybe look that up, spend some time researching that chakra and see how it speaks to you, and what you can do to get in touch with that more and just kind of ground down. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, Karen.
I'm looking at the pains where you all are. So
Hi, Heather. So
hello.
I want to take this in a tiny bit of a different direction. Are you familiar with Access Consciousness at all?
No.
Okay. So I'm an Access Bars practitioner. It's something that you do in person, so it's not like a Zoom thing, but I would think that might help you a lot, finding one who's local to you, because it helps with really getting rid of beliefs that you've installed or that you've taken on that aren't yours. And just the way that I'm feeling these beliefs and these viewpoints kind of anchored in, I think that
time out. You got 10 minutes.
We've got 10 minutes. Okay. I think that might actually be a very helpful practice for you to check into. And Dr. Dane here, who is one of the head honchos over there, has a really good book that's called Being You, Changing the World. And I just want to point those 2 sources out to you because it feels very much like that would be very helpful.
And Dr. what was the last name?
I'll put it in the chat, but it's here.
Okay. Okay, Being You, Changing the World. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just a lot of the beliefs, and there's just a lot. So I think that would be helpful in clearing. So you can release a lot of those projections and all what others think you should do and get to the real you.
Great. Anyone else have something for Heather?
I have a card that I could show her if there's time.
Yeah, go ahead briefly, and then I know we're just
All right.
like on the edge.
All right, Heather, get ready to screenshot that.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to just use my phone because I think I don't know how to do it on my computer properly.
Okay. So I wouldn't even look at the words there, what it's called. I would just look at the picture. Because I think that is missing.
Mhm.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Can you see that that's missing?
Yes, I see. Yes.
So I recommend that you journal on that and go, just journal on it, just your impressions, free flowing, just eat words, phrases, whatever comes to your mind, not whole sentences. Like don't be concise and don't be efficient and don't be professional about it. Do a really bad job.
Okay, I'm gonna write do a bad job. But I'm taking a note to do a bad job.
Yes. Please do.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah, so it's be the like bad student. Yeah. Scholar priest
Thank you
priestess is
so
like the
much.
best student. So you want to like undo that so you can find out what the fresh raw way is that wants to show up.
I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, let's see. So I know we've only got a few minutes, so we're not going to be taking another question tonight. I did have some questions to explain some of the upcoming events. If you like this panel format, I think this is a great format for getting really great advice and from lots of different perspectives at once and getting to know us. We have a few panels that are coming. One of them is Monday, February 28th, starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We just added this one last night. It's on shamanism and soul retrieval. And then we have a group of 4 panels happening at once coming up on March 12. For those of you that have been to our online fairs, we start off in the main room and then we have breakout rooms where things happen. So we're going to all meet in one room and then we're going to, not exactly at the same time, 4 breakout rooms. There will be though 4 breakout rooms with different panels happening. They're going to start at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. So at 4 p.m., I believe it's mediumship. Connecting with lost loved ones. And then at 5 p.m., oh, I've got the order. This order must not be right. Let me go look at the order. It doesn't look right on here. One moment, and I will tell you the correct order. March 12, here we go. Oh, wait. Here we go. And I made 4 separate Facebook events, and there's the main Facebook event for everything. I confused myself. I'm getting the order, and I will put the order in the chat. It's coming up right now. Okay, yeah, so 4 p.m. is medical intuition for people and animals, including animal communication. So that's 4 p.m. Pacific time. 5 p.m. is emotional and energy healing and belief shifting. 6 p.m. is mediumship for connecting with lost loved ones. And 7 p.m. is oracle cards and tarot for answering all kinds of questions. So let me put that in the chat. So that is the March 12 panel. So you'll be able to come into this room, join MeWeOnline.com at any time between 4 to 9:30, and you'll be able to choose where you go. From 6 to 7:30, you'll have 3 panels to choose from. So I'll be starting and ending. Some practitioners may appear on a couple of panels over that evening. So those are all those topics we're going to be doing then. And then we've got another panel that we have scheduled too on love and relationships, and that's on Thursday, March 24th. So that's a while out. So Monday, January 28th, which is in 8 days. And then March 12th, we have this panel symposium. And we have other events too that I've put in the chat. We have a practice circle coming up this Friday. That's February 25, starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's where if you have some modality that you practice already, you'll be pairing up with peers to practice whatever that modality is, be it reading or healing. We'll set a container and help you pair up and be available to answer questions and give you advice and things like that. And then Thursday, March 3rd, we have a metaphysics and intuition learning circle where probably three of us, maybe 4 of us, we offer exercises for expanding your intuition. So lots of different exercises, depends on which practitioners are there doing it. We've had a number of these and offer lots of different kinds of exercises. And then we also have our fair coming up. So backwards in time a little bit, that's next Sunday, February 27, from 4 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. We start off in the main room. The first hour is an intuitive panel similar to what we've done here, but it's much more brief. We answer fewer questions and we answer them more briefly. And then the practitioners go into breakout rooms. And so you can go from room to room to connect with practitioners. They answer questions about their work. They offer all kinds of talks, group healings, group readings, and they're available in private session rooms to do private sessions at the fair if you'd like to do that. So those are all the different kinds of events that we have online. I think that covers a big range. We had a training panel on Friday. New practitioners answer questions from the audience for half price. Yeah, we also have in-person events. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, we have in-person fairs coming up in 2 weeks, March 5th and 6th in Linwood, which is in the Seattle area. And then 2 weeks after that, March 19-20, we have a fair in Bellevue, also in the Seattle area. And then in April, we go to Oregon. April 9-10, I'm in Portland, and then April 23-24, I'm in Eugene. So those are in-person events. We've been having 30s, getting up into the 40s number of practitioners together. We may have 50 together if we are growing back up to the size that I anticipate. Our venues are big, so we're spaced out from each other right now, and COVID is decreasing. This is so great, and so we're gonna be able to be filling up more too. I'm gonna put all the information on the practitioners in the chat again. All the practitioners on the panel today offer specials on their work. So you have an opportunity to work with them in smaller packages, smaller prices. It's a great, great opportunity. You had an opportunity to get to hear from all of us and see how we work with people. We do other things too. That gives you an idea. Let's all go through and introduce ourselves again. And so say your name, say all your modalities, feel free to say your specials, and be sure to share your contact info so people that watch this video later can find you, because they can't see the chat. All right. Anyone want to leap in first? I'm great with whatever order we go in. All right, Karen. And I'll be putting in the chat.
And I didn't even realize I was already unmuted. So how perfect that I'll jump in first. My name is Karen. I'm with Coccia.com. So I am an energy healer, a quantum healer, a soul alignment coach, a multidimensional mentor. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a Reiki master. I am a decodes practitioner. I am an access bars practitioner. I have sound healing. I do intuitive healing. I am actually a yoga teacher, but I haven't been practicing that for a while. So I come with a wide range of modalities, but I work with clients one-on-one to really help them let go, release, collapse, heal, anything that's not theirs, any of the traumas, emotions that are stuck in their bodies, really getting rid of everything that's not what you want going forward on in your journey, so that you can actually find yourself, who you came here to be, and live a life that lights you up. Again, you can find me at KarenCoccia.com, KarenCoccia.com, and I am offering 10% off on sessions right now with promo code MeWe10. And you can find me on Facebook with Soul Alignment with Karen Coccia, or a private group where I offer free readings and fun things, finding soul alignment. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Karen. I want to mention for everyone too, we have a link in the chat where we do a drawing. If you fill out the feedback form and give us your email address, we enter you into a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. We would love your feedback, and it's a great way that all the practitioners can get in touch with you afterwards too. Who wants to go after Karen? Who's ready? Go ahead, Parneet.
Hi, I'm Parneet, and it was wonderful to be here tonight with all of you guys, and the lovely questions that came along. So thank you for all for coming. So my name is Parneet. I'm a medium. I also do tarot readings. I'm an energy healer, and as well I teach intuitive classes. So there's always, you can always explore that if you want to develop your own intuition. So just contact me. Right now I'm offering 20% off of my readings, either a 30-minute session or a 60-minute session via Zoom. My contact information is in the chat, but my website is parneet.ca, or you can email me at parneetmedium@gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you, and especially because I really love teaching more than anything. Of course, I like everything else, My passion is really to help people develop their intuitive side and the mediumistic abilities that they may have, and just bring them out to light. So that's really where my passion lies. So thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Parneet. Who's next?
I will go. Hi there, I'm Saidi with Evolve Your Sexuality. You can find me at www.evolveyoursexuality.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I thank you all for this beautiful evening. It was really lovely connecting with everybody and hearing the questions and hearing a lot of different inspiring words and seeing where people are at on their journeys. My passion is helping people to clear trauma, dark energies, limiting belief systems that are getting in the way of your living your soul purpose and thriving and just having a good time here on this planet, which has gotten a little challenging lately. So I use a variety of different modalities, shamanic practices, soul retrieval, energy healing, magic, ritual, so many things, you name it. Yeah, so you can learn a lot more about me on my website and see what I'm interested in and how I might best serve you. Thank you again for the lovely evening.
Thanks, Saidi. Susan or Henry?
Can go next. I'm Susan Watkins with Inspired Life Essential Wellness, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at inspiredlife.essentialwellness or website inspiredlifeessentialwellness.com. You can also reach me via email at inspiredlife.service@gmail.com. And I am a Reiki master. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm also a sound healing practitioner using crystal and Tibetan singing bowls, therapy harp, lots of various different instruments. And I really, I love helping people connect back to themselves. So many times we get stuck in things that are placed upon us, either consciously, subconsciously. We buy into other people's story of who we are and what we're meant to do. And I really like to help people set that aside and connect back to themselves, so you get to define and decide who you are and what you're meant to do and what lights you up, what brings you joy, what's that you're the architect of your life. What sort of life do you want to build and live for yourself? So it's really truly been an honor to be a part of this panel of talented people, as well as be a part of all of your healing journey. So thank you so much for sharing this evening with us.
Thanks, Susan. Henry?
All right, so I am Henry at henryindiaholden.com. Very simple, very simple. And as I said at the beginning, so where I'm coming from originally and foundationally is that I'm a mystic. I have direct experiences of what I believe is the divine, or, different people call it the universe or God or higher power or something like that. And this is the context within which everything occurs. So I'm coming from a context of all is well, as the higher truth. And then within that, we have the experiences that we're having, and they're all completely valid. And what I find that is an experience for people so much is that they don't know what to do with their lives that will fulfill them and fill their life with meaning, and that will also address what is so evidently needed in the world. And part of that expression of helping people address what is needed in the world, I'm now studying eco-psychology thanks to Laureli, who sent me the link to that amazing class. Andy Fisher and Janine Canty are two of the main teachers of that, wonderful professors, just powerful people. And so I'm really getting that there is the ecological self, which is the self that is a part of nature, that is a part of all of life in this very real way. So one of the ways in which I, from now on, I'm going to work with people is putting that lens on life. Like if you were part of life, which of course you are, but let's say if you could really consider it, in light of that, what would you want to do with your life? And that I found is an unbelievably unsettling and powerful and fruitful question. So when you work with me, we can work on that. I also do tarot readings for people to get a snapshot of where they are. Like I want to just know where I'm at and orient myself so I know where I want to go next. And I also do spiritual counseling to help people just drop into their higher self, talk about what's up is down, drop into your true being and address it more from an imagistic. So not fantasist, not making stuff up, but using the imagination to really understand ourselves. Because I trust that everything that you need is within you. And I'm just here as a guide or as a facilitator. And of course, I have training as a life coach and a number of other trainings. So there's some, professional skills that are behind that. It's not just like, hey, let me guide you because I love you. I also know what I'm doing. So I hope that this makes a little bit of sense and that you get a sense of what I do. And if you are curious, you can set up an appointment, a free 30-minute conversation. You can just go to henryindiaholden.com and you'll find it there, how to make an appointment under rates and appointments. And I hope this is telling you all you need to know. And it's been a pleasure.
Great, and I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach. I read your eyes, read your soul, and then answer questions about your purpose. The archetypes that I read in your eyes are thrive types, and you can see a lot of them online at thrivetypes.com. So answer questions about your purpose, your path, can be your career path. If you want to understand people that you're in relationship with, show me photos of their eyes, and we talk about you and them. I also love to use this work to help you find people to connect with, if it's for romance, conscious online dating, matchmaking to find soulmates. I also help people find careers and jobs that are a great fit for them. I help employers find people to hire that are a great match for the role, for the culture, for the team, etc. Oh goodness. And your body gives all sorts of information that helps you see if you're in alignment with your path, right? Your body lets you know if you feel energized and excited and alive. And if you're not, like it's time to change something or say no to something or all kinds of things like that. Yeah, so your eyes are a window to your soul and a window to your path. And you're the one that gets to implement that and live that. And I say all these practitioners are all here to help you find your answers for how to be on your path. My work is available 40% off from being at this event. There's info in the chat, and you can thrivetypes.com or laurelishimayo.com is the way to find me for everything. It's LAURELISHIMAYO.com. Yeah, so I do readings and private sessions and coaching and all my matchmaking work and consulting. I also have O cards that are great for learning to read cards. You don't have to learn anything about the cards in order to learn how to use them. I mean, almost nothing. Words and images, put them together, you already know what they mean, and you get to play with that with yourself and with other people. And I run all these different events. I do authentic relating. Somewhere in the chat, I finally put in my authentic relating events. There are opportunities to practice being genuine and real and who you are with other people, often new people. So it's great for learning how to speak about yourself in public, connecting with new people on dates. I have some drop-ins coming up Mondays during the day, and then Tuesdays in the afternoon and evening for authentic relating games and something called circling. Yeah, so all that's available. And if you go to laurelishimayo.com and go look at the calendar, all that stuff's there. Yeah, so excited to have you all with us tonight. You can learn more about all of our events at MeWeFairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. And I've shared already about a bunch of the upcoming events, and we're excited to be all together and continue to grow, all of us all together. We grow with being on the panel together with you and with each other. So thanks everyone for participating in this. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording.